Malika here from Malika Semper Astrology, and this is a big week. This week, right splat in the middle of it on Wednesday, December 7th, we have a big old full moon coming in Gemini. So let's just pause there and speak to that first, because there's a lot of different energies around this moon, but let's just focus on the full moon in Gemini first and foremost. It falls at 16 degrees of Gemini. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to look in your own chart and see what house 16 degrees of Gemini lands in. Okay. And that will show you where the big energy is being culminated this particular week with this particular full moon. So we know that with full moons, or maybe we don't know, with full moons, it's a time to let go of. It's the end of a cycle before a new moon cycle begins. So with the full moon, the energies are amplified. Everything feels larger than life. The emotional content feels very big. So we can be extra emotional. We can be extra sensitive during full moons. A full moon in Gemini is going to have us extra wired because Gemini is already naturally energetic, enthusiastic, charismatic, witty. And so all of those things are really alive and awake in us. Our intellects are turned on, our minds are amplified. People might experience, they already experience insomnia, perhaps a little bit of an anxiety during full moon, especially when it's in this air sign of Gemini. Gemini is very mentally active. And so this really gets amplified this week. There is an energetic of letting go with full moon. So we want to look in to see what house it lands in. That will tell you exactly what area of life you want to do the letting go in. Okay, so there's something that has reached its expiration date. There's something that feels like we're just dragging it along and it's not necessary in our lives anymore, that we can gently, not so gently because Mars is in the mix, let go of this week with that Gemini full moon. We want to communicate. We want to be active. We want to be talkative. We want to network. We want to speak to, and this can really happen with this particular moon, the filters come off and we speak to the unspeakable, or we speak to maybe what we've been wanting to say but haven't had the courage to say. So let's talk about that piece, because Mars is connected to this particular full moon in Gemini, which is fine and dandy, except Mars is going retrograde. So there is a retrograde Mars linked to this moon in Gemini, both landing at 16 degrees of Gemini. So this makes for a bumpy ride. It makes for aggressions being up, irritation being up, frustration being up, a challenge, a competition, a butting of heads, an argumentative sort of energy. And so with this full moon, best case scenario is that we're super mindful before we react. However, that is not the energetic. The energetic is we become very impulsive. We become very reactionary. We get pissed off really easily. Mars is our rage and our aggression. And when it's linked to a full moon where anything goes and filters are taken off, we can start some fires, so to say, with this full moon this week. The more mindful we are, the more we pause and think before we speak, the easier this will be, this energy. However, that's not innately its function. So, a little bit of a bumpy ride. We can get pissed off, we can get irritated. We can say the thing and then regret it, and oh shit, we can't take it back because now it's out. So just be mindful of that, okay? Gemini, it's a big energy. Mars, it's a huge energy, and so everything just feels extra alive, extra awake in us. Sexual energy is also ruled by Mars, so that can really be up for us right now, the healing of our sexual energy, our relationship to sex and intimacy, the emotional link we have to those things. That's really where the work lies this week with this big old Gemini full moon. So enjoy the energies. It's a wild ride, and really allowing for whatever comes up to be curious around it. Whatever comes up, give it attention, ask it questions, and then be able to move through it in order to let go of it, because it is the end of a cycle. 16 degrees Gemini. See where it lands in your own chart. See if it's on top of any planets in your own chart, okay? Because it's really waking up those planets then. This will affect mostly Geminis, obviously, Sagittariuses, Virgos, and Pisces, especially if you have 16 degrees of Sag, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini planets within a 5-degree range or so, okay? All right, you guys, take good care, and I'll check in again next week.